There were traumas and casualties coming in all the time. Gosh, I'd love to go to Sudan, to go to a remote place and really help the people that are there. My faith is really my main motivating factor. If you call yourself a missionary, you've got to walk the walk and stay there with the people when they're in crisis. Just take the step. Do something to really care for somebody else wherever you are. Take a risk to help somebody else, and you'll never regret that. When we die, we're going to be questioned. What did you do with your life? I've been now in Sudan for 9 years. Before this, I was in Kenya. And during the time I was in Kenya, I was hearing about the conflict in Sudan. And I always thought, gosh, I'd love to go to Sudan, to go to a remote place and really help the people that are there. We're located in the Nuba Mountains of Sudan, which is in the central part of Sudan. And we're currently in a civil war against the Sudan government. And last year, just around the time the Aurora Prize was taking place, end of April, the government has several offensives encroaching on our positions. They encroached to an area about an hour from us with a lot of heavy fighting, a lot of trauma, and it was just a really difficult time to get away, almost impossible to get away at that time. The civil war has been on for about 6 years. Now in the past few months there's been somewhat of a ceasefire, so it's been quieter. But prior to that, for the previous 5.5 years, there were traumas and casualties coming in all the time. Some military wounded come, mostly, of course, on this side of the SPLA North rebels. Some northern soldiers have come, and quite a few civilians. Really right on the border of the Arab and the African worlds. That's how I look at it. And then by luck or God's grace, I met someone who said, hey, I know a bishop who's working in Sudan. He's building a hospital there. It's not ready yet, but maybe in the future you'd like to go there to work. So I ended up contacting the office of this bishop, and we discussed things, and after a few years, the hospital's ready to go, and I went out and we got started. When I was in university, I studied engineering, but my dream was to be a missionary of some sort, and it was not missionary to go out preaching on street corners, but to bring the love of Christ to people in some way. And engineering wasn't really a good fit, so I said, no, medicine is a much better fit for me. I think being a doctor and being a man of faith, there's such a cohesion there and a synergy with those two areas. It fits in very well with faith. My faith is really my main motivating factor for continuing on with the work in the mountains. When the fighting first started in 2011, I was told by my sponsoring group, you need to evacuate and come out. Why don't you come out? This doesn't make any sense. They say, come out and stay in Kenya where it's safe, and then when things calm down, you can go back. My response to that was, this is the exact time when you don't evacuate. You can say I'm crazy, you can say, save me for another day, but this is when there's a need, the people need us to be there, us missionaries. If you call yourself a missionary, you've got to walk the walk and stay there with the people when they're in crisis. When times are easy, it's not a big deal. When times are difficult, it's our chance to show and show the love of Christ. Most people have good hearts. They're afraid. They're afraid to take the step. They're afraid, what are their parents going to say? What are their friends going to say? How about my career, my future, my 401k? So I want to, if I could say anything, I can say, forget about all that. Just keep life simple. We are all brothers and sisters. We're all children of God. We're all sons of Adam and Eve from the beginning. Just take the step. Do something to really care for somebody else, wherever you are. Forget about your future. Forget about these things. Just do it. Take the plunge and do something where you take a risk to help somebody else, and you'll never regret that. I believe that when we die, we're going to be questioned. What did you do with your life? We're given opportunities here to do something. Just do it. Take advantage of it. God will not let you down. He's not going to, I don't think he's going to abandon me. If I end up with a crisis, I know I'll be tested. My faith will be tested. My life will be tested, everything. I know if I can just stay faithful, God will see me through. And in the end, I can go peacefully to my grave. My understanding is Aurora is trying to highlight humanism, humanitarian action, and it's trying to use that to propagate this idea. So take us small people on the ground, we name other organizations that can do the same work, and that propagates this idea that humanity was a shared humanity. We can work to help each other. The story of Aurora, the idea that the Armenians at one time were victimized, and now this is their chance to turn that around. So the ones that were victimized in the past now become people that can help, not become victimizers in terms of revenge, but actually turn that tragedy into something positive. Say, we were down, now people have come to help us in the past with the earthquake, with the genocide. It's our turn now to help somebody else. And that is a very, very powerful message. And I want to take that same message, which I love, to Nuba. Nuba have been oppressed for 1,000 years. And a direct correlation for my situation in Nuba is I would love to take the Nuba. We're training a lot of Nuba. We have 2 guys in medical school. We have many in clinical officer school, many in nursing school. Take them to the point where they will now be exporters of medical care. People from the north, Arabs that traditionally were oppressors, will come to them for treatment. So they'll come to Nuba Mountains all the way to the bush and have a Nuba guy taking care of him, doing his operation, taking care of him. They will go up to Khartoum and be the professors in the medical university. This is really my dream, and I think that's part of what Aurora is about. If I see somebody we trained, somebody we sent to school and has come back, and I see him in 20, 30 years teaching others and spreading that out and being an asset to his society, his community, that would make me ecstatic. I'd be so happy with that.